You are tuned in to The T Side, a podcast where we talk total health, life lessons, and music. I'm your host, licensed therapist, doula, and music enthusiast, Tawnya D. Now let's get into it. Welcome back to part 2 of my special episode with makeup artist Tennille McClain. In this episode, she is going to be answering some questions that were submitted by some of the listeners. So hopefully you enjoy it. I do want to apologize up front. We had some audio issues, so there may be a little bit of background noise that you hear, but it's definitely a good episode. If you have more questions for Tennille, or if you would like to see us do a live demonstration where she shows us how to do some makeup techniques, definitely let me know. You can leave a review, or you can reach out to me on Instagram, or send me an email at thetsidepodcast@gmail.com.
Now, when I do my classes, I do have a makeup kit that they sell. So normally my classes are like $35 or $40. It's right now they're virtual. Yeah, it's like $35 or $40 for the class. And then the kit is like $35 for the kit. And the kit includes everything we would need for that class. So the kit is tailored to the classes that we have. So if it's an eyeshadow class, you get a eyeshadow palette with like 10, 12 colors, whatever we'll do. You get the brushes that we need. You get a brow pencil. When I tell you that's the number one thing that people want to know how to do is brows, you get a brow pencil in there. You get eye primer, you get, you just get all this different stuff. You get lashes. I teach you how to do, we go through the whole thing. And it's a 2-hour class that I normally go over. I normally go over a little bit, again, because I'm dealing with different skill levels, but we go from the beginning to the end on how to do this. And it's just like eyes. And then I do the same thing for a skin class. So each class that I teach, I have a kit that is dedicated to that. So it'll have, samples of different colored concealers, different kind of finishing powders and different things like that. So I try to make it be that when people take the class, that they can take it and not have to worry about, because I know when people have not bought the kit, they have sent me like 1,000 messages like, okay, Tennille, I'm at Ulta, I'm at Walgreens, I'm trying to get this. What color should I get? And I'm normally like, show me, like, what, let me see. I can try to match you up, that kind of stuff. But the kit normally has everything that they need in there. There's a couple things that I just can't not resell. So, it's a couple things that they have to have on their own. But it is so much fun. And like, I have so many people who take the class, and they like, I do a private Facebook group as well. And so people they feel comfortable because they know it's only a certain amount of women or people in that group that, they can post their pictures and be like, okay, I did my eyes today, how I look, tell me what this looks like, and that kind of stuff. So I have a lot of that. And when I tell you, I love it. I love to see the growth. People becoming more familiar with it, just that practice, taking that time to practice, doing some self-care, because I have people who have wanted to do it. Like I have one lady who took my last class and bought that kit in December, and she's posting every week in that group still. She posts a picture of her doing her makeup. She was like, Tennille, she said, thank you so much for for teaching me how to do this and that. She cut all our hair off. Like, she was like, I knew I wanted to cut my hair off. She said, but I didn't feel comfortable like cutting it off and not know how to do something with my makeup. I didn't want it to be so short. She was like, I am so excited now. She posts picture after picture after picture. She like, I got it now. I'm good.
She got a whole new life.
Yeah, she got a whole new life. That was one of the questions that you did have about revamping. How do you what's the question?
Yeah. How can you tweak your look or update it? If you didn't, if you wore makeup back in the 90s when you used to go out, like you said, back then versus now, what is something quick? Do you just update your eyebrows, eyelashes, or, blush, lipstick? What can you update so you don't look like you going out in the 90s with your makeup?
Right. I mean, just an everyday go to work type of look or something. I would tell you the biggest things to update your look If you're used to wear makeup and now you're wanting to wear it, first, you don't have to do all of the steps that people keep saying, like on YouTube. They do a whole lot of highlighting, contouring, and all that kind of stuff. That will get you confused if you don't have the proper explanation as to why you're doing it. So you don't have to do that. One of the biggest things is to make sure that you have a foundation that fits your skin type. And when I say that, I mean if you have dry skin, you normally would probably want to get a foundation that has maybe more of a dewy, a luminous is what the normal bottles would normally say. It might be called. Even I think like Rihanna has all the Fenty and all that kind of stuff. I think she has a regular, which is a matte. I think she may have started doing something which is called luminous. If you see something that says luminous and you have a drier skin, luminous is what you want to do. You want to get the foundation that's going to fit your skin type now. Also, because what we used to have back in the day in our 20s and now what we are in the 40s or 50s or whatever it may be, our skin changes so much. So, you may have been oily back then and you were able to use one thing, and now as you get older our body loses moisture. It's just a natural process, and we begin to lose moisture as women, which is what begins to allow the fine lines and wrinkles to start to set in. It's all of that is caused by a lack of moisture, and that's what you start to see. You start to see more wrinkles, more bags, more fine lines, and that kind of stuff. Lack of moisture, and it helps to so what we want to do is we have to begin to moisturize our body, put moisture back into our body. So if you have more of a oily skin type, you want to get probably a matte foundation. Something that's going to help to dry up some of that oil that your skin naturally puts out, produces and puts out. So you want to make sure you get the right kind of foundation that fits your skin type. And then the biggest way to update a look, I would tell anybody, first, if you do nothing else on your face, learn how to do your brows. Learn how to fill in your brows properly. The brows frame your face. Even if you don't do anything to them, just get them arched, get them waxed, get them tweezed, get them whatever, so that your brows are cleaned up. Your brows frame your face. It makes, if you don't even have on foundation, if your brows are just cleaned up and your brows are filled and they look nice, and you put on the lipstick, you can go out the door. You good to go. Like that is a look at brows. And then the other thing that I would tell you is a lipstick, lip color, lip gloss, lip lacquer, liquid lip, whatever it is, change up your lip color. Quick, get out of the stigma of the red is for the streetwalkers. It is not. Get out of the stigma that I am too dark. I have so many darker skinned women. I'm too dark for that color. I can't wear this. I can't wear that. Baby, yes, you can. I'm here to tell you there is a way to wear every single color in the spectrum. Even though we're deltas, red is not my favorite color.
Me either.
You will see me wearing red on if I go to a chapter meeting or it's a special occasion and I feel like I need to wear red on Valentine's Day or something like that. But red is not my go-to color. But I know if I do like a dark smoky eye or something, I'll give myself a pop of color, a red lip or something like that, because it's going to pair well with my eye color or whatever. But, stop being scared of color. Makeup can be washed off, y'all. It's not permanent.
That's my thing. I was
makeup
like,
can be washed off. It is not a permanent thing. Also, don't think that you can do it once and you're going to get it. Some people catch on very quickly in being able to master something the first time. But for the most part, we didn't learn most of the stuff that we learned how to do. It took us multiple chances. We didn't learn how to ride a bike the first time we got on it. We didn't learn how to drive a car the first time we got in it. We didn't learn how to do our jobs at work the first day on the job. Like,
good point.
We take all of these, all this time to build up everything, and then we'll try makeup one time and it didn't work out and we done with it. So it takes practice. And I would say master one skill at a time. Master one skill at a time. If you found the right foundation for yourself, it is hard. And I think you got a question about how to pick the right foundation. It's hard to pick. I can't literally tell you how to pick the right foundation. What I can tell you is to get this foundation that would match your skin type. So if you're oily skin and you want to get something that's not going to be oily, get you a mattifying foundation. And then I would tell you, of course, if you're dry skin, you might want to get something that's luminous that'll help you kind of get a little bit, allow your skin not to look dry and look more moisturized. I'll also tell you to learn about your undertones, and that's one of the things that you do.
See, that's a whole class. Look,
that's a whole class.
Minute.
and I promise you, and even and as long as I've been doing makeup, I get it wrong sometimes. So one of the things, even if you Google, like one of the things they'll tell you for the most part is to look at your forearm by your wrist and your hand. So look right there by your wrist and your hand and look at the color of the veins that are right there. And you can normally see like your veins are either like if they look to be kind of greenish, you have more of a warm undertone. If they're more of a blue or purple, deep purplish looking kind of, you have more of a cool undertone. And then if you have veins there, but they look more so kind of like your skin tone, then you are more of a neutral. So the 3 type of skin tones is cool or warm or neutral. Those are your 3 skin tones: cool, warm, or neutral. So a lot of foundations, when you go to get them, it's going by your undertone. It'll be something with a C. It'll be something with a W, or it'll be something with the N, or either they may say that they're red, or it might have an R for red, or a Y for yellow. A yellow is a warm, a red is going to be a cool. So those are the things that you need to learn. So the reason why I say I can't tell you how to pick out foundation is because it's so many dang on foundations out there now that I can't tell you to go and get MAC and get I forgot MAC's even there.
You know what? Let me tell you, what I ended up doing was going to MAC.
Yeah.
When I've just stuck with it. So when you said the N, I said, oh, because my foundation is NC45. I'm like,
oh. I already know that. I already knew it. I was like, I still know MAC nomenclature, NC45 or NW50 or like those are,
So I had no idea.
Neutral, cool, 45, and 45 is their degree of color that they like put in it or something. But NC, or either they do an NW, which is a neutral warm, or NC neutral cool. So so that's
I think at first when I went to get, but I didn't have the case, the compact with me, and they were like, "Oh, is it NW?" I'm like, "No. That's not it. It's an N." So I think because if I look at my veins, to be honest, they look kind of greenish, but some do, some don't. So I guess it's more neutral. And when she showed me NC, I'm like, that's the one. I've just stuck with MAC because that blends in with, and to be honest,
it works.
This is what I found out, which is because again, I don't wear makeup. For people like me who don't wear it, you got to let it sit for a minute. So it kind of blends. See, I didn't know. I'm like, oh, that's why it take y'all so long, because you got to let it blend.
You got to let it.
This look orange. Oh, well, now it don't.
Yeah, when you put it on wet and it's going to dry to a different color, like that's why I tell my clients while I'm doing their makeup, I don't allow them to look in the mirror. Because what I start off doing is not what the end product is going to do. If you see me partial way through the process, you're gonna be like, "Oh, I don't like that. I'm not done yet. Like, I'm done." So I be like, "Look, y'all can't even look in the mirror. I don't even face the chair to the mirror, so they can't see." Because if you look at the steps of that process, you be like, "Oh, wait a minute, that's not right." So, but you definitely have to allow that color to begin to mesh into your skin, and even what you first put on, you allow it to sit. Even like I tell my clients when I get out of my chair, especially for like bridal makeup and that kind of stuff, and I know they're going to be taking a ton of pictures, I actually have to go a little bit heavier with theirs, because what happens is that when they take all these pictures, the camera washes out a certain degree of color and all that kind of stuff. So the camera is going to lessen what you have already. If you want to look like you have something on your face at all, you almost kind of got to give a little bit more. Also, the natural oils in our skin begin, as we wear the makeup, it begins to absorb. So then that's how you kind of say, that's why people say, well, this is the 18-hour this, or, 12 hours this, because our skin begin to absorb what we put on it. So after a while, it's going to neutralize as if you don't have on anything. So yeah, that's a big part of of doing makeup. It's just kind of knowing how long, just putting it on there and allowing it to kind of sit in your skin to begin to absorb into your skin and doing all of that. So yeah.
And the only other thing I really use is Iman, actually.
I love Iman.
It's second to none semi-loose powder.
Oh, okay. I haven't used the other powders, but look, I got my Iman's right here. I use the pressed powder like crazy. I love her pressed powders. You can actually, I think she sells,
because see, that's what my MAC one is.
Yep.
But this one, the MAC is heavier, so what I'll do, I'll put this on if I'm going somewhere. If I just need a quick coverage, I might just use the loose powder after I moisturize, or I'll put that on over the MAC as a refresher. Look like I know what I'm doing. Okay. That's about but that's the extent of what I do.
That's it. I would tell you, so if someone just wears if all you wear is foundation and maybe like a little lip or something, the other thing to kind of step up your look a little bit is to get a cheek color. Get it something.
I've never been able to figure out how to do. They like go here. I'm like, and I always look like a clown because it's
you find but what it is that you find you find the apples of your cheek, and then you fan it out. Less is more when you're starting makeup, when you're trying to start to learn something new. You always start out with the least amount and build up, because you can't really take off too much, but you can add on when you have too little. You can add on too little, but you can't take off too much most of the time without messing up something. But you start that apple of the cheek, and you take if you're using a powder or something, and just kind of tap it and bring it to the back. It don't stick right there. Yeah, you go back. Even all the way back to kind of like where your hairline is.
Oh.
But you don't want that much color. So you just put in the majority of your color should be here, and then you're blending it back.
Okay.
So you don't keep anything, like the whole game of makeup is blend. Blend. You ask one word about that describes makeup, it is blending. You always start here and you diffuse it. So it should diffuse to where it's nothing. So you can see it here, because I actually used the liquid cheek color, and I just used I didn't use no brushes when I threw on this makeup a little while ago. But I put a little bit on my cheek here, and I just kind of blended it in, and I tapped it to the back. Just blended it in here, and then just tapped it to the back. I just used my hands when I did it, but it really almost kind of just brightens up your face. It just gives you a little bit more of a
That's something. Probably what I need.
and it does. It takes you, because when you put on all your foundation and that kind of stuff, you're one color, you're one dimensional. And you just need a little bit of something to add a little bit extra there. Just give me a little color here on this cheek, and then put a little color on your lip. Those are very simple steps to update your color, update your makeup routine, just to kind of get you out of that old routine and kind of, just to get you on to something else or whatever. So whoever asked that question, that's a very good question. Again, I would say the first thing, of course, is brows.
You know what? Let me tell you I saw somebody, it was a girl that I watched, and she just happened to be doing her makeup one day while she was talking to us. She gave a tip, and I was like, okay. She said, if your brows aren't arched, you can use the brow pencil and draw the arch. Even if your brows are way up here like mine, they looking kind of wolfy. If you draw them, just line the eyebrow, and then I'm like, oh, and it worked. And it does frame your face.
Yep, it frames your face. I was
like, look at that.
Yeah, baby, those brows are everything. They are everything. And my brow technique, I hate a bad brow. Like literally, if I had to take one part of makeup that I would perfect to a T, it is brows. I hate bad brows. I hate an overdone brow. I hate a brow that's too dark. I hate the brow where all you see is pencil. Like, I want to be able to see some of my hair. I want you to actually look at my brow and be able to tell that I got some actual hair in there. Like, I don't want it to just be overdone.
Right.
And I hate that. So yeah, that's where when I do my clients' makeup, I spend probably more time doing their brows than anything. I promise you, I have so many brow products.
Yeah.
It is not funny. So I would tell you, definitely do the brows.
Okay. I know I said I wasn't going to keep you long, but I do want to get to these people's questions.
Yeah.
So what type or what brand of makeup would you recommend for somebody who has allergies or really sensitive skin?
Okay. So I will tell you my go-to, and I have a kit full of it. It's because I have to have different stuff to fit different people. I use Dermablend, Dermablend. Dermablend is my go-to brand for people with allergies and all of that.
Okay.
Dermablend is one of the, if you see something that says it's non-hypoallergenic, what that means is non-hypoallergenic. It means that there's certain things that are known allergens that most people have. They are the most common allergens. It's like, I forgot, it's dyes like number 5, which might be, I think it's 5, is it red? Is that the red dye or something? That's a real known allergen. Like, that's one of the higher allergens. It's just different things that are known allergens. When it says non-hypoallergenic, it means that product does not have those known allergens in it. So they've taken that out of the product, which anybody's skin can react to anything. We all got our own different things, but like, literally, I used a certain type. I used to use Caress soap for years and years and years. And then I started all of a sudden just getting like, I would take a shower or something, and I get out of the shower and I would be itching so bad I literally would have to take like half a Benadryl for me to stop itching.
Oh wow.
And I eventually just developed an allergy to something I had been using for umpteen years, and now I have to use like Dove white soap, the Dove white bar soap. So you can just grow into an allergy, something that you had not had for a long time. But Dermablend is the love child of you. Do you remember what was her name? Flory Roberts. She was known. Her name. She wasn't fashion fair. What if Flory Roberts had her own cosmetic brand, Flory Roberts something? But her and her husband was a dermatologist.
Okay.
And you have a lot of things that are where dermatologists try to make makeup and they don't do it properly. They do it with more of the skin focus, and they don't do it with the like properties of the makeup artist. And then you have makeup artists who don't know the dermatologist type of thing, but they actually were married and they came up and made Dermablend.
Okay.
So it has like the perfect qualities of makeup artistry, and it also has the healing qualities of the dermatologist.
Okay.
And so that is one of the best brands that I know that I use. I got a kit full of it because I never know who my clients are going to be, what their allergens are, all that kind of stuff. So I keep it with me on a regular basis. It's one of my go-tos to use with my foundation. So I would tell anybody who has a very sensitive skin, try Dermablend.
Okay.
And all of their products are like that. I use the setting powder. They've got different forms of their foundation. I use the Dermablend primer, skin primer. Like, I use all of it.
Okay.
So I use everything with Dermablend. And then they have they're made again because it's for a dermatologist made it. So if you have something where you have like rosacea, where you have the reddening and the irritation of the skin, they have very thick foundation that helps you apply it. And like people who have the where they have the lightening of the skin, what Michael Jackson said, vitiligo. Yeah, like they have a cream foundation that you can use and make it look like all of their skin is one color. Like I use it when I'm covering up tattoos on people. Like it's a thick cream, and you can use it on face and that kind of stuff, and it still looks good. It's a learning curve to it, but they have a lot of stuff like that. So if you have like some areas that you're self-conscious about that you don't want to be seen and it's hard for you to cover it, Dermablend has a great line that will help do that.
Okay.
So,
you kind of answered the one about how do you match your skin tone if you can't find a good match? Look, like I said, I ended up just going to the MAC counter. Like,
Yeah.
look, help me out.
Yep.
Go to a professional, and because if you're looking under a light and if you in a bad light and or trying to find it online and it just doesn't really work out.
Yeah, that's why I said it is hard. Now, here's the bad thing with the pandemic. The pandemic has stopped Ulta, Sephora, probably MAC. I haven't gone in MAC in a while, but you used to go in there and they can match your skin. They can open up something, they can match your skin, that kind of stuff. Because of the pandemic, they're not doing any of that. You have to just go in there, buy the product, see if it worked. If not, take it back, get another one, or get your money back. So they've stopped all of that touch where I got to touch you and try and put that on. Like they've cut all of that out, and which is bad because I normally would tell people go to Ulta, go to the Sephora, really get matched properly, that kind of stuff. So like the makeup artist who owns the makeup lounge that I work at, Nettie Kelly, she's the owner of the makeup studio. She actually a Black makeup artist in St. Louis, and she has her own foundation and product line.
Okay.
I love Nettie Kelly's foundation as well. And if you go in there, you can get matched up. The only thing about that now is because of the pandemic, we're not open on a regular basis. We're only open by appointments when we have clients and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So you can't just go up from 12 to 7 and go in and get your foundation match until we begin to open back up like that.
Okay.
But yeah, so.
The last two questions, one you said it's a easy question, but kind of a long answer, which is how long should you keep your makeup? And the other one was the order that you should apply. Like you put on your foundation and then. Okay.
I will go into that one first. The order of application is what you're asking about. It's different for everybody. It just depends on what your preference is. My go-to order of application is to do my brows and eyes first. The reason I do that is because eyeshadow has it's a powder product, and powder has a fallout factor. You have some degree of fallout 9 times out of 10 with some kind of powder product applying it. And so what happens is you're putting it on your eye, but it's powder that's dropping below up under your eye, that you'll start to see that fall out from your eyelid where you're putting the product, and it starts to sit below your eye. So I love to start with the eyes first, my brow, and then I do my eyes, because then I could wipe off any fallout that's falling up under my eyes and not be wiping my foundation off. If I've already put my foundation and powder and all that kind of stuff on there, I got to wipe that off and reapply it. If I got some blue eyeshadow that and drop up under my eye, what I'm saying? So I normally do my brows, I do eyes. I normally don't even do eyeliner at that particular point in time. I come back and do that as one of my last steps. After I do brows and I do eyes, and then I normally do my foundation. And I do a process where I use called color correcting, where I color correct with a concealer to get rid of the dark spots or hyperpigmentation, or if I had any red spots or anything like that, I'll do that up under before I apply my foundation. So I correct the color first, and then I apply my foundation over it.
Okay.
So that would, if people call it concealing or whatever, to do that before you apply your foundation on top of it. What I also tell people too, if you're putting a cream or liquid on to like do a color correcting, then you want to use like a translucent powder, like a loose translucent powder. I put that on top of my concealer or whatever, and then I put my foundation on top of it. Because what I want to do is, if I'm putting liquid and then I put liquid foundation on top of it, all I'm doing is blending it in. So it's going to come right off top of that color that I'm trying to correct. I'm going to end up blending it in with my foundation. So I'm losing coverage. So what I do is I put my concealer on if it's under my eye. If I'm concealing the darkness under my eye, then I'll use a little bit of the loose setting powder to set it in. Make sure that I press it in good. Then I go on top with my liquid foundation so that liquid foundation is not moving what I just did to correct that color. Okay. I didn't do all of that today. You can see right through it. Actually, I just got on the tinted moisturizer. I don't even have on foundation. But yeah,
what's the name of the tinted moisturizer that you use?
the one that I have is I have a Mary Kay. I actually got a Mary Kay tinted moisturizer.
Maybe that's what it was. I was curious. I've had some before, but I don't
Yeah,
remember where I got it from.
yeah,
Probably
it was.
Mary Kay.
Yeah, it was. I got a Mary Kay tinted moisturizer, and I like to use it. It's a very, very good alternative for someone who is wanting to start wearing foundation, but they're still really, really skeptical about how to apply it, or they just want to have a little bit color or give their face just a little bit of something. Maybe you just want to even out your skin tone a little bit.
That's
Tinted
why,
moisturizer is a very good place to start because it first gives you moisture. It has a moisturizer in it. It's basically taking a moisturizer and putting your foundation in it and rubbing it together. That's what a tinted moisturizer is. And
Okay.
that's what it thins out that color. It gives you some color, but because it's already got the moisturizer in it, you're not getting the complete potency of a foundation, so you're just kind of getting a washer color over your skin. So I did say brows, your eyeshadow, you do your color correcting or your concealing, put in a little translucent powder to set it, and then go on top of it with your foundation.
That was the other question for your foundation. How far down do you go?
Oh,
Under your
foundation.
chin?
So I would tell you it depends on what you're doing. So when I do my clients' makeup, if I'm putting on a foundation or if I highlight and contour them, when I contour them, I'm normally giving them a deeper color. I'm warming up kind of the perimeter of their face around the forehead, the ears, up under the jawline, and that kind of stuff to kind of create that more. I'm giving them depth to their skin. So those colors are normally kind of going to be darker than my chest area. So if I know that I've got that where I'm going to be doing a darkening on my face, then I will take that and just drag it down. What I tell people all the time is that if I have whatever excess, so I blend all over my face. And I'm normally this is normally my blending brush. I'm normally using something fluffy. I don't use the standard foundation brush like the flat one that we used to have back in the day. I don't even have it over there by me. But I use a thick, dense blending brush. And when I do my foundation, I take it and tap it on in little spots. Here, I can actually kind of give you a little demonstration of what I do. I'll just put it on top of this. Now, what you get is what you get. So I'll just show you here really quick. I take my little foundation and I'm just kind of going to put my little spots on. I just tap it in a little bitty spot. And the reason I do that is because it allows me to blend it. If I put it on the tip of my brush first, and then I go in with this, wherever I put it first, it's going to be the heaviest.
Right.
Because it's got the most product on it. So I kind of just do the little spotted face. So now I look like I got polka dots all over my face. But what it allows me to do, I also wet my brush too. I don't like to have
with the little mist or
I'll spray my face or I'll spray my brush with a little mist or something. And then I begin to tap it. I tap it into my skin. It allows me to use, because I literally had a little bit like a pea-sized amount of foundation. You see, I still got some in my hand. I pat it and tap it into my skin. I'm not pulling it because when you begin to like drag the product, you're thinning out the product. What I do is I tap it and press it into my skin so that it begins to blend. If everything is dry, so if my brush is dry, it doesn't blend as well. That's why I like to put like the little Mario Badescu spray or something on there.
Okay.
To make sure that I've got something to kind of give that moisture to allow it to blend better. Yeah. So so that's really,
and it was
really
quick too.
Oh yeah, very quick. But I just blend it in, tap it on into my skin.
Yeah, I think I would drag.
Yeah, tapping it allows it to give you more coverage. So I don't need if I'm just tapping the product into my skin and I got like an area that's dark, I got more coverage because if I take it here and I do this, I pull from here to here, I'm just thinning it out. I'm thinning it out. So I love to do the tap effect because I'm just pushing that product into my skin. Now, when I get done, after everything is kind of like completely in my skin, then I'll go in and kind of do a little swirl where I'm just kind of giving it the airbrush effect. I'm kind of like just buffing it out, but everything is already like tapped into my skin. Whatever is excess on this brush now, this is what I do. I blend down my neck. My brush is completely dry. All it has is maybe a little residue on it. That's what I take down and kind of blend down my neck.
Okay.
And my brush is not wet or anything. It just got whatever that little residue is that I done had on there already. And I just blend that down. So I don't go down. Now I have some people who have very discolored. They have a lot of discoloration in their neck, between their neck and their face. And if you are one of those people, then I would tell you maybe you can add a little bit of product onto, you know, a little bit of product, maybe kind of here. But the more product you add to areas, so like if you got someone who has fine lines and they say, okay, well, I got a lot of creasing going on. Well, the reason that you have a lot of creasing is because you have too much product there. So when I do like under my eyes, under your eyes is the most delicate skin on your face. They tell you when you start to rub, they tell you to rub upward, up under your eye, not pull down, because you don't want to help that bag and that sagging effect to go. But when you're putting product under your eye, you want to begin to rub up. So when I put product on, I'll put my foundation here, but I never put it like right here on the fold part of my eyelid, because I know that's my eye creases there. That's where my eye, when I open and close and blink a million times, that's the area that folds. So I put my foundation under here and I just take the excess and blend it up. So it's almost kind of like what I do with my neck, where I just take whatever excess and just pull it down. I do the same thing with my eye. I just take the excess and blend it up into there. But if I would have took product and just put it right here where the eye fold, then that's when it starts to crease, it cakes, because it's naturally going, you blink a million times a day. It's naturally opening and closing and folding and all that kind of stuff. And the more product that you put right there, the more that you'll start to see that creasing and that folding and that kind of stuff. So it's a little for less is more in those delicate areas. So yeah, so that's how I do it, really. And you see, actually, I didn't even put a lot on, but you can even still see I got a little bit of cheek color still showing through. So it just depends on the level or the amount of foundation you want to use. I would tell you a good like over-the-counter brand of foundation that you could use is Maybelline Fit Me.
I've never heard of Fit Me.
Yeah, and actually this is a plastic. This is my makeup artist case, but it's actually in a little square bottle. They sell it everywhere. Walmart, Walgreens, CVS. Everybody sells Maybelline Fit Me. It's about $5.99 a bottle or something.
Okay.
And I absolutely love Maybelline Fit Me. It's a mattifying foundation, so it's good for people who have oilier skin. And they do have a luminous, so that would be for people who have drier skin. They have 2 different brands, but they have about 50 shades, 40-something shades of each. So you can, you know, if you're trying to find your shade, get more than one. If you don't know what to get exactly, you know, you're not breaking the bank. We're getting 2 of those. Another one that I would tell you about is Black owned, is Juvia's Place. And you can find her in Ulta, or you can find her online. But Juvia's Place is Black owned.
How do you spell it?
Juvias.
Okay.
And she's got a million products. Foundation sticks. All of her packaging is orange.
So then do you just dot that on and then blend it? Do you dot that on like
Same
that?
thing. Same technique, different product.
Okay.
Same technique, different product. And you know, again, like I said, also the brush. The tools that you use make a big difference. Another brand that is a Black-owned brand that I've heard, I haven't used it myself, but I'm hearing nothing but good things about it, is the Lip Bar. It's called the Lip Bar. She was in Target. Actually, she's a soror. She's a Delta.
I was getting ready to say, I have, it was in my Delta box.
Yep. She's a Delta. But she has blown up, and her makeup is targeted toward women who are on the go. Like she's got a foundation stick thing where you can just dab it on. You use the same brush that you dab it with and do something quick with it. Her lipsticks, her liquid lipsticks and stuff, like they're number 1. I think she may have the number 1 red lipstick in the country at all now, right now. I think it's called Boss Chick, BAWSC, Boss Lady or Boss Chick or something
like that.
Yeah, it became number 1 after Michelle Obama had it on.
Right, of
Michelle
course.
Obama had it on. So it became like that was the go-to. But it's a beautiful red. It's a
It
red for
is.
everybody. It is. It's amazing. But yeah, I think I know she's in Target. I think she may be at like Walmart or something now, or either she may be at Ulta or Sephora. I know she just got into another store brand. I forgot which one it was, but she just got into another store.
Okay.
So yeah. And then the other question was, how long do you keep your product? If you look at your products, a lot of them already have a little thing on there that will tell you how long to keep it. So there's some general rules. So this, you almost can't see it. It's so little. It's a little bitty, look like a little lid with an open lid on a little thing. And it tells you how many months you can have it. So for like lipsticks and lip glosses, especially like a lip gloss that you're taking in and out the tube, you rubbing it on your lips and then you put it back in the tube, that kind of stuff. You're supposed to keep these about 3 to 6 months or something and get rid of them. Because what happens is where you have moist stuff and that builds up bacteria. So if you're using it and you keep rubbing it on your lip and then you put it back in there, whatever you done rubbed on your lip and then you put it back into the tube, you done put your bacteria in there and then now it's growing. Bacteria grows in moist areas. Whereas it won't necessarily grow as much on like a pressed powder because there's no moisture there for it to grow and incubate and that kind of stuff in. Don't mean that it doesn't get germy, but they have a much longer shelf life than a lipstick or a lip gloss. You could use that longer if you take the applicator out and don't use the applicator. You use like just a plain little disposable applicators. It's your lip applicator. Dip it in there once with the disposable lip applicator, which is what I do for all my stuff because I use it on clients. Take my disposable, dip it in there once, close it up, and I use the disposable wand on there. I never double dip and put it back in there or anything like that. So yeah, you look at the back of your product. A lot of products have it. Mostly now they're telling they have it on the back of products, but everything doesn't have it. You can see that little lid thing on there, and then it has a 6M or 12M or 24M. It tells you how many months that you can keep it before you need to replace it or get rid of it. So yeah, so that's the little trick that most people don't know, to look on the product and it should tell you how long to keep it. But there are some standards if you kind of just Google how long should I keep an eyeshadow palette or something like that. It'll tell you. Normally eyeshadow palettes are probably like up to 2 years. Especially depending on your product. If you're using it just on yourself, like I said, powder products like eyeshadow and pressed powders and that kind of stuff, they have a longer shelf life because they're dry and the bacteria doesn't set into it like that. They can get germs, but bacteria can't grow into that powder. So yeah, they have a longer shelf life than like a lipstick or lip gloss or a foundation, which is liquid and that kind of stuff. So
okay, well, I do appreciate you answering all of our questions.
No problem.
I've learned a little bit today.
Yes.
And surprised that I knew more than I realized.
Yeah, girl, people do. You know more than what you think, but you think because you're not an expert, quote unquote. And I don't pretend to know everything. I promise you, some of this stuff I probably had to look up before we talked. No, I know it because I had to read. Not before we talked though, but no, I know it because I did have to literally research it before I would begin to teach my classes and that kind of stuff. Like I don't pretend to know everything. Yeah, but I had to. It was stuff I do a lot of trial and error stuff, so I have to practice. I'm my own best guinea pig probably, so I have to do a lot of trial and error stuff on myself and try to figure it out, so I can know what to do or what I like. Do I like this on my client? Well, I need to check it out first for a couple of weeks before I realize if I want to use it on my client. So it's a lot of trial and error type of things. So I enjoyed this. I thank you for having me, Tawnya.
Yes, I do have one more question.
Okay.
And that is what I ask all of my guests each week. I have a song of the day or whatever my mood is, depending on how I feel. So what is your song? I let my guests pick the song. So what is your mood?
Oh my goodness. Okay. My song Oh my goodness, I've been playing it and jamming it in my car like the last couple of days. But it's not a new song, but it's by I can't say his name properly. It's Toby
Toby. I knew you were going to say Toby. Uh-huh.
Yep. His song Eat with him and his wife Fat. Like it's the hype song. Like I love that song. I love Toby.
I was gonna say I just love him.
Yeah, I love them. That I love the whole family because it ain't even just him. Like it's the family. I love all of them. Baby Fat, all of them. Nail, I love all of them. So, but yeah, the song "Eat" is my jam, and I don't know what it is. Something about it. First off, I like his style of rap. He was dope with it, and then when Fat came in, and it's just I'm just like, oh my gosh, just so hype. Just play it in the car, just put it on repeat like 10 times.
That's the best. Those are the best songs. The one you just put on repeat.
Yes,
keep listening to it.
Yes. And people around me probably looking like she going in. Like, I don't care who around me. I'm just in my zone, just going crazy listening to this song. So yeah,
I love it.
That's my song.
Nice. Okay.
Yes.
I'll add that one to the playlist.
Yes, you got to.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much
for
joining me today.
Welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. Tell us again where we can find you. What are your socials?
Okay. I would tell you my main social is my Instagram. That's my business account. It is Angelic, ANGELIC, Faces, FACES, MU for makeup, and then artistry, ARTISTRY.
Okay.
That's my Instagram. And on Facebook, I'm under Tennille McClain, just my regular name. I do have an Angelic Faces on Facebook, but I don't know, it's just there. So I would say if you want to follow me, just Tennille McClain.
Okay. And you have a website that they can get to from your Instagram?
I do. Yes. It is, my website is www.angelicfacesmua.
Okay.
.com. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's where I got the MUA from.
Yeah. My website is MUA. Somebody stole it on Instagram, so I had to add all that extra on the end to it. So
I hear you.
So yeah, I'm www.angelicfacesmua.com.
Okay, well, thank you so much. This is March, so it is part of the Women's History Month, and you are definitely one of the women making history. So thank you.
Oh wow, I never thought about that. Wow, I feel special.
You are special.
Oh my goodness, now I feel like I gotta live up to something.
You already are. Look, you moved from your kitchen to a studio and get ready to move again.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
and you said you have contracts already lined up for people. So you're doing it.
God is blessing. I take no credit. God is blessing completely. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. As my pastor, you're welcome. As my pastor always says, be blessed so you can be a blessing to others.
Yes, ma'am. True. So true. But thank you. You have a good evening. Thank everybody for listening. I appreciate you listening to me ramble on. I hope I was able to enlighten someone or you got something from what I said. So I appreciate you.
Definitely. Thank you. Have a good rest of your evening.
All right. You too.
Okay. Bye-bye. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the T-Side Podcast. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at the T-Side Podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to podcasts so you don't miss any of the episodes. And be sure to tell a friend about the show. Until next time.